To begin our drawing, we will find the center of the paper and move up just about 2 inches to draw a small circle for the cardinal's eye. Below, we will draw the beak, first with a little angle and close it off to create the rest of the beak. So we will draw the top of the cardinal's head, and they have a very prominent crest, so you will draw a zigzag line to show the fluffy feathers. And just continue this line outwards just a bit to make the wing. Now let's move to the front, the chest of the cardinal. This line will go down and then curve and not quite connect, because we're going to close this off with another curved line to create the wing. We will also draw a diagonal shape to create the tail. And next I draw the mask, or the little black shape that goes around the cardinal's face. And we draw a diagonal line to create a little perch or a pine branch that the cardinal will be sitting on. You can add as many pine branches as you like. Just know that we will come back later and add the actual pine needles to this. Now you probably want to grab yourself a green color pencil, and we are going to add the pine needles to each one of these little twigs and branches. When you draw these pine needles, I'd like you to show the texture or the little sharp detail of every little needle. So I'm drawing little diagonal lines that follow along the original drawing of the branches that I created. And feel free to go back in there and add some more little lines. Remember, we want each one of these to be a separate line. It is not a scribble, but diagonal short dashes. Once you finish, go to the other side, add some more pine needles, and don't forget to add some more pine needles right in the center just to hide that empty blue space. Once we have finished the pine needle texture, I would like you to grab a red color pencil so we can begin the feathers of the cardinal. When you make the feathers of the cardinal, it's very similar to how you made the pine needles. I'd like you to draw short little lines or little dashes to show every little individual feather. Now when you're doing this, make sure not to press too hard. You want them to look light and fluffy. And think about the direction in which the feathers would grow along the cardinal's body. They kind of fan out from the face. And once you get into the chest of the bird, you'll notice that the feathers all point downwards towards the tail. Now as we move into the wing of the cardinal, you'll start to notice some changes in the feathers. If you've ever noticed on birds, you'll see that they have different types of feathers. On the wing, they have longer feathers to allow themselves to glide along the air. So in the center of the wing, I make little rectangle dashes, and at the very bottom, they're long, singular feathers. The tail feathers are a lot like the wing, so what I suggest is just to draw long strips of color showing those separate long feathers. Now I'd like you to grab a black pencil, and I add a little circle inside the eye to create a reflection. I color this in, pressing pretty nice and hard on the eye, but when you create the feathers on the face, I'd like you to make sure that you're pressing a little bit lighter so that it is not too dark. They are tiny little feathers, so short little dashes. And now let's color in the beak. Now you can use brown, or you could use any color you choose. I chose to use orange. And next I'm going to outline the cardinal with a black color pencil. And you'll notice that I make a little bit more of a zigzag line to kind of show the fluffy feathers of this bird. This just allows us to see the shape of the bird a little bit more prominently. Feel free to outline anything that you think needs to be drawn out and brought attention to. If you would like to add some pine cones, that is an option as well. I lightly draw with a pencil a couple of oval shapes right underneath the branch, and I use a color brown pencil to lightly color this in, very, very lightly, because we still need to add our texture to these pine cones. Now to add the texture, I use the same color pencil and I create the pattern of scales. Now these scales are a little wavy, and I am pressing much harder with my color pencil than I did when I initially colored this in, so that these lines can stand out. Next, I'd like to add some snowfall in this drawing, so I'm going to use a white color pencil and draw little dots with varying sizes and spread them all over my sky of the drawing. Now, if you'd like to actually draw the shape of a snowflake, you are more than welcome to do that as well, and add as much snow as you possibly would like. I also choose to use a blue color pencil just to add a few more little snowflakes, and it just adds a little bit more detail and variation. And for the final step, I add a little bit of snow buildup on top of these branches, just using my white color pencils and using a circular motion to make it look like some snow has built up on these branches. Add as much as you'd like, and if you'd like to add anything or change anything in this drawing, know that you are totally welcome, but I do want you to consider using texture to bring a little bit more life to your drawing. And that is it for our drawing today. I hope you have enjoyed practicing visual texture, and I hope you also consider using it in your future drawings. Take care.